So we're getting really close to installing our floor, so we're starting to think about the flotation we want to add to the boat. Now we want to make it removable, so a couple years down the road after it gets waterlogged we can easily replace it. So we have this pour foam that we're going to mix together and put into a mold. So we're going to mix this up right next to our mold because it sets up very, very fast and it's also very hot, so that's going to make it go even faster. This is our form for our flotation, and we have our part A and part B, the 1-to-1 volume mix. So we're going to have to mix this really fast because you're going to see it's going to start setting up nearly instantly. So we're getting ready to do the next pour. You can see this is how much 20 and 20 ounces each part A and part B filled up. So now we're going to double that to try and finish this off. So I'm going to start up here in this corner and fill that gap, go down the middle, and then fill these two little holes that I left. So now we're getting started on the sides for extra flotation. And so what we did was we took a rectangle and we made a mold just with some really thin flimsy packing tape. And we're only pouring on the one side, letting it get nice and tall because that side of the boat is sloped. So you can't do a full pour like we did on this one over here that goes in the center of the boat. So after this sets up, we're going to lay it in the boat, see how it looks, and if it worked out pretty good, we're going to do it for the other side too. We have a couple of pours of the expanding foam in our mold here. So we're going to test fit it and just see how much more we want to add aside from just filling some of these little gaps. So this is the channel for our wires going up to the console. So we still have plenty of height before we hit where our boards are going to rest. So even if we go a little bit thicker, it's not going to interfere with the floor. So we took our long foam boards and we decided to cut them in 2-foot sections. This will allow us to shift them front and back in the boat if we ever have to disassemble the floor, or if we ever have to move them around to get to cables or anything else that's in there. So that's why we cut them, but to make sure they remained very waterproof, we took damp block and coated them. So this has a really thick layer of damp block which seals all of the open cell foam holes. So now they're resealed and ready to be put in a bin until we finish putting in the floor. Alright, so we're about to work on some more flotation for the boat. We're using US Composites 2-pound marine foam, 2-part pour foam. We really like US Composites. That's why we buy their epoxy, their foam, and everything else that we need that they sell. So we're going to use a paddle mixer to mix both components. We've sprayed this with release agent because this expanding foam does not come off of anything and it takes forever to try and clean off if you don't do this. Trust me, I know from experience. Spray it with release agent first. So in order to fill this cat litter jug, empty cat litter jug, we anticipate using 5 ounces of each part, which we expect will fill this entire jug. So we're going to test that out and show you how it goes. You can see it's starting to expand. Our handle's dripping a little bit. So we tip it back so some of the expanding foam will be in the handle to make that nice and stiff. So we have our second foam pour ready. Again, we did some foam into the handle. We did slightly less by about ½ an ounce, so we'll see how much less the second container fills versus the first one.